When January rolls around, I know it's time to prune my roses, and to keep them going strong through all the seasons, spring, summer, and fall, I'm going to need to do more than just prune them. Hi, I'm Sonia with Suburban Gardening, and pruning my roses is one of those jobs I look forward to in the garden because it's cool outside, and because I know I'm doing a great thing for my roses. I'm going to be fertilizing them as well, and I'm also going to be spraying for pests and disease. Up here on the hill we get black spot, rust, and powdery mildew. And if I can get ahead of that before the springtime comes, I'll be able to cut that down quite a bit. This rose bush stopped blooming about 3 weeks ago, and I didn't have a chance to get out here and spray it. So look what ended up happening. Can you see underneath the leaves? All of those orange little dots right there, that's rust. They're actually living organisms that are sucking the life out of my plant. Now, as I keep coming down here more, you can see that it's got another disease on it, and whoop, there we are again with the rust. So that is a real problem, and I'm going to have to eliminate every single one of these leaves off of every single one of my rose bushes. Now this is also black spot. It's another disease, but it also has rust on there as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down and I'm going to take these rose bushes back to their stems. And that way they'll have a much better chance of coming back full force. What I'm going to need for the job today are my big loppers, of course my garden gloves, and these are old garden gloves. I'm going to be throwing them away after this application because I don't want to spread those diseases to my other plants. And lo and behold, you guys, yay, they finally came. I've been waiting for these for a long time. My new Corona clippers, I can't wait to use these. Also, the thing I wanted to tell you was I've got my big green trash can right here. This is how we recycle, in our neighborhood. But I'm going to clip these diseased plants and I'm going to put it right into the green. I'm not going to set them on the ground. I'm not going to put them in another vessel. They are going straight into the trash can, and that way it will help the spores and the eggs that might be overwintering get into the trash can and out. I know they're picking up the trash tomorrow, so they're going to be off my property pretty quick. This process is really pretty straightforward and simple. I'm going to make sure when I do my final cut, and that's going to be down by the base of the plant, that I just cut it right above a leaf node, and that way I can be sure that that branch is going to stay alive and it's going to make a new bushy plant. When I have this tall of a plant or any kind of a rose bush that I'm working on, I always work from the top to the bottom. I don't have special gloves, I just have my regular garden gloves. So I want to be careful that I don't get poked. So top to bottom, and then that way we can make sure, we're safe. Because this rose bush is so tall, I'm just going to start trimming just to get rid of a bunch of this, so I can see what I'm dealing with. I can see that the branches are going to get a little too big for my coronas, so I'm going to have to get my loppers out. I hope you guys can see this, but this is brand new growth. This rose bush thinks it's springtime right here and it's trying to grow back again, but we can't let that stay there. Everything's got to go. One of the things that we really need to watch when we're trimming our roses is that we don't want the branches to be crossing like this. That causes for a lot of leaves that are trapped up inside the rose bush, no airflow, and that will help the disease and the insects grow. So as you can see right here, I've got like 3 of them crossing in every direction. So as I get lower, I'm going to be snipping off all of these. When I talk about trimming at the leaf node, this area right here above the leaf, that would be considered a leaf node. So you could cut it there. So then what I know is that more growth is going to come out right here. But it's better off to go down here this is the leaf node before it. It doesn't actually have a leaf, but you can see that it's bulging right here, and you know that that's where the new growth is going to come out. Now this particular branch, I'm actually going to take it all the way down to here, and I just need to find the leaf node here, which I think it's right there. And so I'm just going to put this one all the way down to there. You always want to be looking for the bulging area where you know, and right here there's sometimes a line where you know the new growth is going to push. So this here is called a sucker. You see how it's kind of a spindly little thing? And it's not part of the actual rose bush. The trunk of the rose bush is right over here. So this has grown up from underneath the roots somewhere. And the reason they call them suckers is because they suck the nutrients away from your actual rose bush. And the best way to get these off is to pop them off at the root. Oh good, this one's coming off. Oh my goodness, it has roots of its own. It's like its own little bush. But the best thing to do is to get these out of here and don't let them congregate around, because they'll really take away vitality from your rose bush. These are the two different sprays that I'm going to be putting on the roses today. The first one is the All Seasons, and this is actually an oil spray, and it helps kill the overwintering eggs that are on your plants. And I use it on fruit trees, and I also use it on my roses. The other one I'm going to be using is the copper fungicide. Now this one's great for black spot, for powdery mildew, and it seems to help keep the rust down as well. So I actually have a dedicated sprayer for this one because I use it once a month all the time, because it's just a real problem in my garden. Now to use it, I recommend that you just look on the back of the product. It has full instructions on how much to use for whatever application you're going to need it for, whatever problem that you're trying to solve. And I use these 1 gallon sprayers because I use it quite a bit, and I do have the fungicide in a dedicated sprayer because I use it so often. I mix it out here by my hose. This is my Aqua Joe, and it's just easier for me to fill up my sprayers here, and then I actually made a little cup with exactly marked on here how much I need. I pour that in and I'm ready to go. I use the rose tone to feed my roses, and I pretty much use this exclusively. It also feeds the other things that I have in the garden and in this flower bed right here. And it's real simple to do. It comes in granules, and these are time release granules, so it'll keep feeding up to several weeks. Now I do this once a month, and I do that March all the way through September. And if it looks like we're having really nice weather and the roses are going to continue to produce, then I'll give them a little extra boost maybe in October. So I know that this soil isn't 100% depleted, but it doesn't have enough for that really strong push that they're going to have in April. And I want to make sure that they have plenty to eat. So basically I just sprinkle it around the base of the plant. 2 big scoops. And then I rough it in. Now I know we're having a couple big storms coming up. So when the storms and the rains come, they'll push the fertilizer right down into the soil. I also do another thing, and it's called banana coffee compost, and I did a video about it. I learned how to do it at the Los Angeles County Arboretum, and they have the most beautiful roses there. I wanted to share this rose tree with you because I bought it because it reminded me of my mom. She loves yellow roses and I love pink roses. Well, this tree actually makes one rose that's pink and yellow, so I just think it's the perfect tree rose to have in my garden. Unfortunately, it is in this pot, very unhappy, and I just noticed that there's a whole ant colony living down there. But I'm not going to touch them. But up in here, there are tons of rust. This whole poor thing is covered with rust. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take it all the way back down to the branches and spray it really good, just like I did the other ones. This little rose tree sure looks different now. I've taken it down to practically nothing, but I know that it's going to come back full strength in the springtime. Now I sprayed it and I fertilized it, and I hope you noticed when I spray, I also spray the bottom, the base, where the dirt is in the mulch, because diseases and eggs harbor down in those as well. So if we walk over this way, we can see the rest of them. They're looking really good. I'm really happy that this job is all finished. This is about a 40-year-old rose bush, and you can see the left side of it here is pretty much all dead, but it still has a lot of life right over here on the right side. I'll keep pruning it, feeding it, and spraying it. I actually inherited these. They had been neglected for about a year, so they're coming back pretty nicely. The difference on my climbing rose is that I'm going to be leaving long canes. But even though I am going to be leaving long canes, this climbing rose is infested with black spot and with rust. So I'm going to make sure that I pick every single leaf off, and then I'll go ahead and spray it just like I did the other ones. And also I'm going to drop some fertilizer down in here so it'll be nice and ready for the springtime. Once I started to get these leaves off, I could see that I have two of the main canes and they're crisscrossed, and that's very bad. So I'm going to take this one and put it over here, and I'm going to clip this one a little more in this direction, and then that way they have nice airflow. They can just grow up and branch out and just make a nice big beautiful bush for me. If you live in an environment where you get snow in the wintertime or it freezes, you'll need to wait and do this application probably early April or whenever you have your last freeze, maybe even in March. Those roses really need to have some protection when it's frozen. You'll do the exact same application though. You'll prune them back really good and feed them and spray them with whatever spray you need for your particular issue. I hope you guys found something in this video that really helped you with your garden and with growing your roses. I struggled for so long. I didn't know what products to use. I didn't know what tools to use. I didn't know when I was supposed to do anything. But I've been doing this for quite a long time, and I always have great success with my roses. I remember the first time that my husband saw me cut these roses back this hard. He said to me, "What did they do to you?" Well, he soon realized in the springtime when they came back so beautiful that it was absolutely necessary part of growing beautiful roses. You might want to try out that banana coffee compote that I make to put into the garden. It really makes a difference. It just changes your soil, makes it so healthy. The worms and the microorganisms just absolutely love it. Well, you guys, lots of luck with you and your roses. I hope you have a beautiful spring with just an abundant amount of roses. So thank you guys for stopping by. I'll see you next time.